Iran, complicity in Russian terror must be punished. Zelensky.
Here's a summary of the article.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called for Iran to be punished for its weapons sales to Russia in a speech on Sunday, following his meeting with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. Ukraine has been seeking to stem the supply of Iranian drones to Russia. Russia has been using Iranian suicide drones to strike Ukrainian military and civilian infrastructure since at least August, according to Ukrainian and Western intelligence, though U.S. officials have said they have been concerned about the issue since July. Russia and Iran have repeatedly denied the defense relationship, but on Saturday Iran acknowledged that they had supplied Russia with the platforms, albeit prior to the wars beginning in February. An earlier CNN report contended that over 1,000 weapons would soon be shipped from Iran to Russia, but the Pentagon was unable to confirm the information. Reuters said last Tuesday, "We do have concerns that Russia may also seek to acquire additional advanced munition capabilities from Iran, for example, surface-to-surface missiles to use in Ukraine," adding that in the Pentagon's assessment that Russia continues to experience supply shortages when it comes to munitions, particularly guided munitions. Russia's reliance on countries like Iran for munitions, Reuters also said last Tuesday, says a lot about the kind of company they keep and where they stand in the world right now in terms of isolation.
This post received a score of 7,500, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
I agree with the sentiment, but punished how? US already has had sanctions on Iran for the past 40 years now.
Look at Iran today. Rioting in the streets, currency tanking, officials transferring wealth out of the country and standing on the verge of regime change. The punishment may be closer than we think. At least we can hope this is the case.
I hope those kids can make their desires come to fruition. I'd love to be able to see these countries without fear.
Our new Iran is emerging into a real thing. I don't think Iran will ever be the same again. Too many people have become incredibly hostile towards the mullahs.
Iran regime, like NK and other dictatorships with strong armies, cannot and will not be thrown out if it's not for direct military intervention.
I understand Zelensky's frustration, but punished, how exactly? Iran has already been isolated for decades now. If anything, the endless sanctions, saber-rattling, and broken agreements have been what pushed Iran towards Russia. They're all that's left. We have to stop pretending that sanctions are a silver bullet that solves every problem. It's simply not supported by the evidence.
Greater than we have to stop pretending that sanctions are a silver bullet that solves every problem. I find it quite ironic that both sanctions and Russian terror bombings derive from the same, false, assumption that hitting population will make them turn on their government.
Unless I'm wildly mistaken, I'm pretty sure there's a protest or two in Iran currently. Edit. I don't mean to imply sanctions are the only reason for the protests. They are definitely a significant factor, though.
Sanctions has a very little part in protests. It is about freedom and being free from a theocracy regime. Yeah, sanctions and super shitty economy are part of it, but not the only reason. Fuck Khamenei and his oppressive regime.
I didn't mean to imply that sanctions were the only reason for the protests, but they certainly are a contributing factor.
Yes, you're right.
Iran's in its own battle against tyranny right now. I'm hoping they actually succeed in a regime change.
I hope that if they succeed in a positive regime change, they will be greeted with open arms by other democratic powers.
Yep, last time Iran was democratic, they totally didn't have some country come and overthrow their democratic leader for a brutal dictator.
Also planning, funding and committing terror against Yemeni, Syrian, Lebanese, Israeli, Palestinian, Iraqi and their own Iranian minorities, females and LGBTQ, political prisoners and intellectuals. All under the guise of religion. Killing, torturing and raping in the name of God. This IR regime has been despicable since inception. My heart is with the ones suffering from their menace.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.